and in today's tutorial, it happens to be the final phase of the course EDU212 that we will be doing here on YouTube. And next time, I think this course will be on Telegram. With this being said, let's go straight into it. Let me know what you think about my cap in the comment section. Let's go straight into it. Now, we have Edu. Sorry, excuse me about that. Edu212. And according to what the thumbnail says, we are taking it up from the economic function of education. So today's class might not take much of our time because it's more like the conclusive part to what we've been doing, or more like the conclusion of what we've been doing all this while. Okay, so let's go straight into it. Now, it is pertinent to examine in some detail the way in which the educational system helps what maintain the economy. Okay, now it has just been re-emphasized, all right, or emphasized that education is important. Okay, education is important to the success of any economy function, or economic function of education. Okay, education is very important to the success of any economy. Now, the economic function of educational system is to what? Provide, okay, to provide what we call the labor force, okay, provide the labor, the labor force with, all right, with the manpower that matches the need of the economy, that matches the need of the economy. You must have heard of the statement that says, oh, from fresh graduates, I'm preparing myself to be highly required or highly useful to present something I have to offer in the labor market. All right. Don't forget that every economy, all right, any economy that is doing okay has a lot, all right, the majority of its labor market are filled up with youth, all right. I'm just using that as general say, but what I'm trying to say is that it it has to do with, okay, people that has a lot to offer, all right, people that has a lot to offer on a general palette, okay. So it is very important that education produces people that can offer a lot, all right, people that are fortified with enough skill that organizations need to what improve whatsoever it is their service or what they are producing are. Okay, so we have that as that. So now let's go straight ahead to the political function. Okay, the political function of education. Here we are simply talking about the political function of education, or the educational system, all right, has two tasks, I mean to say. Now, the very first task here is that all its members, especially the new generation coming to the age when they can exercise political power. Now, educate, okay, educate all members, especially the young ones, all right, about exercising their political rights. That's the first one. Then the second one says the necessity that the country shall be led by leaders. All right. Leaders must come from within it. All right. If it should remain independent. Now, there is need for this young ones or the people in a particular country to be educated that the young ones have, all right, should be able, knowing that you have your political right and you should exercise it. And you should also, they need to be informed that the education system helps to inform that these young ones coming into this system must be leaders, all right, produce leaders, all right. Going into the political terrain, it's not just for a layman, it's not just for people who haven't even find their feet, all right. The political terrain is basically meant for people who understand certain things to certain level, who has been able to develop themselves and fortify themselves, okay, before now making that decision that they want to rule or become leaders in their own country. All right, but it's necessary that every single country must understand that there's a certain age I will get to. All right, these are the education. This is what education does when it comes to the political theory. Help you understand that you have certain political rights and you must exercise it as a citizen, and as well produce leaders from these countries. All right, so we have that as that. Now let's continue. So now let's talk about how education helps what produce stability and how it manages change. Now, the consideration of social change and innovation has led to the problem of providing stability. Now, this is a bit dicey. All right, when we talk about stability, how does education really help stability? Now, look at what it says here. It says that the consideration of social change, okay, and innovation has led to the problem of providing stability. Yeah, to some extent, okay, definitely a lot of things are changing. Okay, technologies are getting better, systems are being improved, the old ones have been kept aside and new ones are taking over. Okay, but irrespective of that, the concept of stability and change are said to be what closely linked. Okay, definitely when something new, all right, has just been introduced, it will definitely affect what you've known before. All right, so it will take you time to take in what you have been newly introduced to. Right? You know, you get to a place and you feel like, okay, I think things are not properly done here. Why not let's do it this way? Then you come across things like, where are you coming from? You can't just come here and change things. This is how we do it here. Have you come across things that, especially in an office settings, probably you're just being employed and you feel like, okay, I think if we can do things like this, it will be better. And they'll be like, where is this one coming from? You are just coming and you want to come and teach us what to do. This is how we do it here. Even though how they do it, all right, it can actually be improved based on where you are coming from and based on your experience and your expertise, right? But if eventually you are allowed to have your way, you now begin to realize that, okay, I think we were doing things wrongly. We should have actually been doing it this way. All right. So, like I said, they said the concept of stability and change are closely linked together. All right. Okay, now, okay, so we have that as that. Now let's go straight ahead to education and cultural change. Okay, education and cultural change. So we have edu and cultural change. Definitely, education is not out there to eradicate culture. All right, it's not out there to delete or kick against culture. But definitely, there's a level you get to when it comes to education, you begin to question your culture. Nevertheless, it is not to kick against the culture, but it's for you to understand the culture better and help, all right, facilitate what needs to be facilitated. Okay, so now what we are talking about here, it says the educational system may, however, be given a much positive role in the transmitting, all right, in transmitting culture. Now, let's take this example. It says one of the clearest example of an attempt to alter culture of a country was made in Nigeria by who? Obasanjo. Administration after his administration after They came in power in 1999 through what? The reform of the educational system, where we have the 6334 Okay. Now, the culture here is 6334. All right. So there was an attempt to change this to 9334, which actually failed. Okay. Due to some reasons. But nevertheless, this is what I'm talking about. All right. The education, there's a level he has gotten to, and there's a level of exposure which he has been able to attain. Now he now begins to see that okay, I have power to some extent, and these are the changes I want to make. This is what has been okay. So it feels like okay, it seems like this should be better. The 934 should be better compared to the 633 system we are using. It's a very good one, okay. But like I said, it is not meant your level of exposure on education is not meant to, all right, eradicate or kick against or delete what has been, but it should be to improve and further, all right, strengthen the culture, okay. And basically, this he actually made the attempt, but it eventually, okay, failed. Now we have that as that. So now we also have here education as a means of human liberation. Now, most recent and contemporary studies in education contend that education is a tool for liberation from the cultures, from the clutches of ignorance and perpetual mediocrity. Basically, definitely, like we've been talking about, education opens a lot of things, all right, to you, opens you up to a lot of things. It enlightens. So, if they are saying education is a what? Is a liberation from the clutches of ignorance and perpetual mediocrity, then we actually saying the right thing. Now, according to Dewey, now we have Dewey in 1961. Dewey asserted that education should concern itself with the what? Equalization of opportunities for individuals in communities to help himself as a person. All right, it should be concerned definitely. Okay, the person out there with this certificate or with this exposure or with this expertise did not just get it overnight. There are certain things he did. There are certain procedures. There are certain trainings he had under. All right, he went through certain training. He undergo certain training before he can acquire that certificate or skill. So definitely, if you also want to get to that level whereby you are well acknowledged, you also need to go through the same training. All right. And this is where education comes in. Just like what Dewi said. It is a what? An equalizer. He actually said the equalization. So it's not a thing of he has it, nobody else has it. As much as he has it, you can as well have it. If you are willing to go through the same route. All right. Equalization of opportunity. Opportunity. Okay, I think it's plural. Opportunities. According to Dewey, it's an equalization of opportunities. So we have that as that. Now, contemporary education, all right, concedes that education aims at integrating the social as well as the economic strategies people are experiencing as a result of social, all right, uh, permeating the whole human society. Now, basically, what we are trying to talk about here is that contemporary education, all right, concedes that education aims at what? Integrating the social, all right, the integration of the what? The social and as well the economic strategies, all right, people are experiencing as a result of what we call social change. Definitely, we talked about that moment ago. All right, that changes in the society, all right, amount to what we call some behavioral reactions based on certain changes. But with time, okay, everybody will adjust eventually. Okay, now I said a stable society is a peaceful society where stability is best maintained with the adherence to the status quo, irrespective of the change, most especially if it is constant. All right, it affects the stability of such society. Okay, so that's why you see a lot of major changes do not really take effect. Okay, a lot of changes because definitely there'll be a lot of reactions. Okay, there will be a lot of reaction, there will be a lot of antagonists. Okay, and this will definitely alter the stability of such a society. All right, but if such change are they are very important and they must take effect. All right, such change should not come off often. All right, it should not come often. Talking about the amendment of constitutions. Right, certain there needs there are certain times whereby the constitution needs to be amended. But if you look at it, it doesn't come back to back. All right, there's a long distance, all right, of time between such reforms. So we have that as that. So very quickly, let's talk about the sociology of teaching. Now we have the sociology of teaching, and we have the role, all right, of a teacher. Now, teachers are now seen as ordinary people who teach rather than as cultured paragons. Now, teachers see themselves in various ways. Now, basically, we know who teachers are, all right? Like we said earlier, changes, all right, in certain things propels certain reactions. Now, according to what we are being told here, it says teachers, what are the role of teachers when it comes to teaching? Like we all know, and we said in our retrospective classes, teachers play a very important role when it comes to, all right, passing across knowledge, all right, passing across knowledge to their subjects. Okay, now, but unfortunately, teachers are no longer recognized; they are no longer acknowledged. Instead of seeing them as cultured paragons, speaking about something you use as example, the cultured paragons, people that you can say, oh, these are well cultured people. But unfortunately, the reverse is the case. Now, at the infant or primary school, teachers are expected to be concerned mostly with children they teach, all right, and not the curriculum. At the teaching level, at that level, teachers has to be what centered around learners' personality, development, as well as the body of knowledge to be imparted. Now, basically, in as much as the society doesn't really paint the teachers how they should be painted, all right, the importance of teachers in the educational sector, in the economy. We talked about the politics, talked about the economy, talked about the society at large. The importance of teachers cannot be pushed aside, irrespective of what they have been painted as. All right, because when we talk about passing down of knowledge, all right, teachers does that even from the infant stage of a child. A child has a child in his infant stage, about 2 years old, they're already in school. All right, you see teachers impacting knowledge in them, okay, and this is how it continues for a long period of time. Now, when we talk about the infant primary school, all right, infant, all right, infant primary school teachers are concerned mostly with children. They teach, all right, and not they don't use curriculum. Here, teachers teach based on what is right. The curriculum is there to guide them, but it is more of what they deem fit and right, more of their own personality. Don't forget that you cannot give what you actually don't have. All right. So at this level, teaching has to be centered, all right, around the learner's personality. Teaching is centered around the learner's, all right, personality. Okay. Now, this is because the child is just all right, transiting from home to school. Okay, so basically, we said something that the very first line of education a child is receiving is from the family. All right, the next one, we can talk about the society and it's big, but for a child in for children in their infant stage, definitely is more from the home and from the school. Okay, so now with that being said, he says that at the secondary school level, special attention has to be what accorded to the child's future career, because at this level, a wider scope of body of knowledge is taught. All right. So at the secondary level now, a wider, okay, a wider scope of the body of knowledge is taught. Okay, is thought with deeper sense of responsibility because of the what? Because of the manifestation of character traits at this stage. All right, definitely at this stage, you begin to help build, all right, character traits in order for them to channel this in line with what they want to be in future. Then we have at the tertiary level, a teacher is saddled with the enormous responsibility of teaching, researching, and community, all right, development, participation, which deserve more commitment, dedication, and display of academic prowess, ability, and capacity. So basically, at the tertiary, all right, level, the teacher is saddled with enormous, okay, we're talking about uh, a very big, like the tax is quite much, enormous responsibility, enormous responsibility. All right, enormous responsibility of teaching, researching, teaching, and as well teaching and researching. So we have that as that. Now, we also have something called reluctant learner. Okay, this is more like the attitude and behavior of a child towards class teacher and towards authority in general. Okay, teachers have always been particular about, all right, they have been particularly prone to the use of, now, I think it's in Edu, I think maybe 223, where we said teaching should be child eccentric, in the sense that a child, you might teach a child something. If you bring two different children together, one of them might learn quickly and the other might be a slow learner. And the strategy you use, this is just one strategy on two different children. So one is a fast learner and the other is a slow learner. Okay, so you need to understand that, okay, the strategy for this particular child, which is a slow learner, has to be different from that, which is a fast learner. Okay, that is one thing about these reluctant learners as well. All right, children come from different backgrounds and children have different personalities. Okay, but it's quite unfortunate that teachers, probably because of the burden of the work on their shoulder, they are particularly prone to certain use of, all right, stigma terms. All right, it says here use of stigma terms. These stigma terms, we have the likes of, teacher calling student a dullard, okay, calling them something like that, or a moron, okay, like I usually say, everything we do here is basically for educational content. Is not to instigate violence, or is not to instigate bad or improper behaviors. Basically to educate and to inform as well. So now, unfortunately, teachers are prone to using these stigma terms, which are really not a good one, as they are derogatory. All right, these things are derogatory. Derogatory. Okay, when we say derogatory, they don't make those children, all right, they don't make those children happy. They make them such where it makes such a child feel bad and might eventually end up accepting a new personality. Right? My teacher already said I am this. Maybe she's right or maybe he's right. Then they accept such and further enhance and further make them a what? A reluctant learner. Okay. So and even after using this word, some end up beating them, all right, and being very brutal with them. Now, this creates lack of interest in child, all right, in the child as he manifests some reluctance towards learning, bringing about incapable or normal behavior. All right. So such a thing are to be discouraged among teachers. Rather, words such as you can do it, you're smart, you are bright, you're a bright child, and you can do this, you are smart should be used instead of derogatory words. So we have that as that. So very quickly we have teachers in the classroom. It says here that a major part of the school day for any teacher or pupil is spent teaching and learning. All right, that part of the curriculum is taught in the classroom. And basically, what are we talking about here? We're simply talking about the school or classroom is a group that consists of teacher and varying number of children. Speaking of the classroom, okay, is a group that consists of a teacher and varying number of children, okay, like any social system. Now, the class can be divided into what we call the constituent parts in order to see what function each part is playing in the whole. Okay, speaking about that, classes whereby we have reasonable amount of students, divide them into two equal parts, and let's observe each part on how well they are doing in their academics. So we have that as that. So we have social relations in a classroom. Okay. In the social area, the classroom serves two main functions. The first, to train youth to be able to perform adult role. Then secondly, classroom help to determine which students will perform what roles as adults. Talking about the classroom, the social relation in the classroom. Okay, don't forget that in the classroom, it's basically more like a factory for helping and for building future leaders. All right, not future helping and building leaders. All right, talking about their character, talking about their personality, talking about how well, all right, they should behave in the society. All right, so speaking of that, they are trained, right, to be able to perform adult roles, to be able to perform, take up responsibility, and we have that as that. Very quickly, we need to understand that teachers, this is what we call curriculum, okay, where we have the teachers and the what curriculum. Now, when we talk about curriculum, it's said to be what, according to Musgrave in 1975, it said curriculum as those learning experience or successions of such learning experience that are purposefully what learning experience, all right, learning experience, all right, that are what or purposefully organized, purposefully organized, organized for what sake? By such formal education agents and school. Now, this learning experience that are purposefully organized is to what guide the teacher in order to achieve a certain result at the end of it all. Okay, that's why we have a curriculum, more like a map. Okay, more like a guide to what the teacher should be doing. Okay, so now Blackmore and Cooksey said curriculum is the knowledge taught in school, all right, taught in school lessons or include in some other way in the timetable, such as the project work. But basically, what we need to understand is that curriculum is more like a guide, all right, that is there to prove the teacher through, okay, this is what you are expected to do within the first week of resumption or within the first week of this project. These are the things you are expected to do in order to get this result at the end of it all. Okay, so we have that as our basic. I think that is okay. We have the teachers and the examination as well. As we have talked about the responsibility of the teacher in the classroom, all these will be measured. All right, and how has this responsibility and how much learning has been done or passed across will be measured by something called the examination, which is said to be that in every learning process, body of knowledge is transmitted and received for the purpose of reproduction, all right, by beneficiaries when the need arises. Now, this is ascertained through what we call evaluation, assessment, and examination. This is how you know, according to the educational system, all right, this is how you measure or you know if a child has learned, all right, anything at all. Okay, so that's where we will be calling it a wrap for today. I think it's basically the last thing here on our material. So thank you very much, everyone. I believe we've been able to gain something to this class. Please let's do our submit and to the appropriate quarters. And I look forward to seeing all the subsequent tutorials. Bye for now.